Welcome back to my channel. We are reacting to PlayStation 6 new details. We ready to react to new Xbox? No PlayStation.
5 years since the PS5 came out, and 1
Okay.
year since the PS5 Pro came out. Yeah, crazy how fast time flies. Now, the PS6 is still a few years away. However, we've actually had a ton of leaks on it recently. Even Sony made a full video with some of the things to expect from the PS6. So, get a popcorn ready, and let's start with the most important part. The hardware. Okay, so
Okay.
the PS5 uses an 8-core, 16-thread CPU based on AMD's Zen 2 architecture. It is similar to an AMD Ryzen 3700 or 3700X CPU, which was a really good CPU at launch, and it is still very capable today. But it's a chip from 2019. And by the time the PS6 releases, it will be an almost decade-old CPU. So an upgrade is
100%.
The new PS6 is set to use a custom AMD CPU based on the Zen 6 Orion architecture, leaping 4 generations ahead of the PS5 CPU. It is set to come with 8 high-performance cores and 2 efficiency cores, most likely used by the OS, so that the high-performance cores are reserved just for games. The chip is also rumored to use TSMC's 3nm manufacturing process, with a die size over 180 square millimeters, which would place it right between the PS5's 300 square millimeter APU built on 7nm and the PS5 Slim's smaller 260 square millimeter die produced on 6nm. Of course, the APU will also include the GPU, which is rumored to be around 2.5 times to 3 times faster than the PS5 when it comes to traditional rasterization, and around 6 to 12 times faster when it comes to ray tracing. All of this comes from leaker Moore's Law is Dead, who previously leaked a number of Sony consoles, from the PS5 to the PS5 Pro to even the PlayStation Portal. And even for the PS5 Pro, the PS6 may be around twice as fast, according to Moore's Law is Dead. This massive leap in graphic performance will apparently be made possible by AMD's upcoming UDNA architecture. He also mentioned that the PS6 may have graphics performance on par or even exceeding the RTX 4090, and that would be insane considering that this was a $1,500 graphics card at launch. There was also this YouTube video where Mark Cerny, the PlayStation lead architect, and also Jack, the senior vice president of AMD, they talk about Project Amethyst and how AI could be used to enhance game visuals and performance in the next generation of consoles. They talked about 3 new technologies co-developed by AMD and Sony: neural arrays, Radiance cores, and universal compression. Neural arrays connect GPU compute units together for more performance maximizing efficiency. Radiance cores onto the chip
on the Xbox,
and therefore free up the CPU to offer significant speed boosts. And lastly, universal compression is a new technology that analyzes all the data and compresses it much more efficiently than the current methods. Now, Mark Cerny was very careful to say that these features are not finalized yet, and they can only be currently tested via experimental simulations right now. But it is safe to say that these are very likely to be used in the upcoming PS6 and even the new PS6 handheld. There are more, and we'll be making a video on that very soon, so you subscribe for the PS6 portable. Now, given that the PS6 will probably be based on the same x86 architecture, we would also very likely see PS4 and PS5 backwards compatibility. This would be the first Sony console in 2 decades to support 2 generations of backwards compatibility, with the only other one being the original fat PS3, which had dedicated PS2 and PS1 hardware.
First time
PS3. The PS6 may come with a 160-bit memory bus, enabling around 640 gigabytes per second of memory bandwidth, or around 42% more compared to the PS5 and 11% more compared to the PS5 Pro. And according to Moore's Law is Dead, if Sony decides to use 3 GB GDDR7 RAM modules, then the console can end up having up to 30 gigabytes of RAM, almost double of what we have in the PS5 and the PS5 Pro. These are all massive upgrades over even the PS5 Pro, and even more massive when compared to the original PS5 and the PS5 Slim. So let me know if you're excited about the PS6 by hitting that like button down below.
Future Daniel
I don't know yet.
here.
None.
And some really cool events. And I just wanted to say that if you haven't gotten your hands on a PS5 yet, or you would like to try the PS5 Pro, you
Dude.
have to wait until Black Friday, because our partner Raylo has some awesome plans for you to jump into. Raylo, by the way, is the leading UK tech subscription service that reduces e-waste by offering flexible and affordable plans for gaming consoles and a whole bunch of other devices too. With zero upfront cost and at just under £22 a month, you could get a PS5 Pro together with Battlefield 6 and play it at the highest fidelity of any console. And if you've already got a PlayStation, Raylo has offers on iPhones, Macs, and Apple Watches too. So check out Raylo by using the links below.
But what about the design of the new PS6? Well, the PlayStation 5 was a massive change over the PlayStation 4, and it introduced a bold new futuristic design. Just like how the PS3, when it launched, it looked pretty crazy. Now, while we don't really know what the PS6 will look like, some of the reviews say that it will actually have a detachable optical drive, just like the PS5 Slim. And of course, the PS5 Pro as well. And I actually don't mind this approach. All of my games over the past couple of years have been digital. So for me, I wouldn't really need that physical drive, but for people who do, then of course you would have that option to just buy that and then attach it to your PS6. But going back to the design, it's going to be a lot more with a sleeker and more understated look. That's why our concept here is a slightly modified PS5 Pro that comes in black. And we may also see a new dust-proof design according to some of Sony's latest patents. This would prevent dust or dirt from entering the PS6, while still allowing for a pretty good airflow according to the patent. But what about a controller? Well, Sony is rumored to introduce a new version of the DualSense with a removable and rechargeable battery via USB-C. And that's while keeping all the great features of the previous DualSense, such as the amazing haptic feedback and the adaptive triggers. Now, one cool thing about this new controller, named DualSense V3 apparently, is that it may actually roll out sooner. As soon as November of this year, actually, together with a revised version of the PS5 Pro. And we don't know for sure if the PS6 will use this exact same controller. It's safe to say that it could be based on it. So this controller would then give us a good idea of what to expect with a PS6. As for storage, the PS6 is more likely to come with NVMe 5 SSD. A big difference from the 1TB SSD in the PS5 Slim or the 825GB SSD that we got with the original PS5, and even the newly revised PS5 Slim from last month. And with games taking up more and more storage space, this would be a really welcome upgrade, especially if you're coming from the PS5 or the PS5 Slim. Now, if you're coming from the PS5 Pro, that already came with 2TB of storage, so you wouldn't see any upgrades aside from the faster storage speeds. I'm hoping though that Sony will keep the option to easily upgrade the SSD ourselves. I actually added a 2TB SSD in my PS5 not that long ago and for a pretty good price. And the whole experience was such a straightforward one. And speaking of a straightforward experience, that's our app, Wallpapers, where we offer the highest quality wallpapers on the market. When are we expected to see the new PS6? A leaker, Kepler L2, with a reliable track record, revealed that Sony has set the release dates to be in 2027. Of course, this is to be taken with a massive grain of salt. Kepler L2 has a very accurate history of leaking console details. And besides, this was the 7-year upgrade pattern that Sony has been doing for quite some time now. The PS6 came out in 2006, the PS4 in 2013, so 7 years later. Then the PS5 came out 7 years after that in 2020. Therefore, 2027 does seem like the safest bet. So, pricing. Well, there have been a lot of various leaks when it comes to this. However, the lowest price was rumored by Moore's Law is Dead at just $500. And honestly, that would be awesome. Keeping the same price as the original PS5, but getting all of these upgrades would be surreal. For sure, Sony would be losing money on every console sold, just like they did with a PS3 at launch. But then, of course, they'll make their money back from the games sold. Some of the more conservative estimates come from Tom's Guide at $599 to $649 and Digital Trends at $550 to $700. Personally, I'm expecting a price of $700, the same price as the PS5 Pro. My reasoning is that when the PS6 releases, the PS5 Pro will likely still be sold, but at the same price as the PS5 now. So for so then 700 would make sense for the PS6. And besides, Microsoft said that the next Xbox will be a premium console. So I do expect Sony to pull a similar move and for the PS6 to be more expensive than the PS5 was, especially when you take into account inflation and all the tariffs that have been introduced lately. Now, we're still about 2 years away from the PS6 being launched, and
I'm not more excited.
We'll make some more videos to keep you guys updated, so make sure you subscribe. And with the PS6, by the way, there's also said to be a handheld version of it with a similar level of performance to the base.
Sonny, why are you doing
that? The console is said to be dockable too, so I wouldn't be surprised if that ends up being the entry-level PS6, with the actual PS6 being the Pro version, so to say. But anyway, I'm actually very excited for the PS6, especially with GTA 6 coming out next year. I'm thinking that we could see some serious upgrades in graphics on the PS6 when that launches, because if you think about it, the PS6 would only launch a year after GTA 6. So if you want to see more PS6 content, then do leave a comment and subscribe to the channel. And this is enough tech, and I'll see you guys in the next one. So signing out. Cheers.